Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Virgo, we have the 6 of Wands, which has everything to do with victory. Yes. The energy I have been looking for as a fellow Virgo, right? I'm so happy to see that. Okay, now let's go ahead. We're going to take a look and see what this bowl of tea leaves is going to tell us. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Okay, so we have some kind of interesting energy here. We have what looks like a head right here. You can see the eyes, maybe the mouth or the nose here. It looks like we have 2 little antlers, okay? We also have hands, arm, and an arm reaching up. We have the number 3 right here in one hand, and over here we have, it looks like a fish. Okay, so the fish represents resources or money, okay? We also have with the number 3, number 3 seems to be like a very lucky number for you during this next cycle of time, okay? Until you watch your next Virgo reading. Now, the person with the antlers, it reminds me very much of the Queen of Discs, right? And the Queen of Discs, is it the queen or is it the princess? Do they both have the antlers? Because I'm thinking, hang on 1 second. One second. I have to look. I know some of you get so annoyed when I say discs, but that's what Crowley called them. So I'm just going with that. Yeah, she does have the really long kind of horns, almost more. It's like the ram kind of. Or the goat, I suppose, because it is Capricorn. So anyways, this energy is very in line with more the Princess of Discs, I would say, because they're not as prominent as the Queen. And we know that the Princess of Discs or Pinnacles or Panicles or whatever you want to, coins, circles, earth materials, she's pregnant, right? And she's depicted as being full of life, right? She is the furnace. She is the creator. She is the one that is bringing this intelligence through the portal into the physical realm, manifesting. And so we have this energy of really being able to create what it is that you seek, what it is that you have your intention set on. We have money coming in. We have, it seems like it is something that might be lucrative for you. So I imagine maybe you are getting into a business, or you're starting to sell your goods, maybe something that you create. Hopefully maybe you're somebody who's like making a channel. I'm always pushing for people. If you know me in my personal life, which some of you do, I am always advocating for people to start making content on YouTube. You can't expect to be making a lot of money, and it does take a lot of work. It's not easy. I'm not going to present this as an easy thing, but I think it's such a wonderful place to express yourself, right? It's a wonderful place to discover. What do you have to say? You know, what is it that you want to share with the world? And, you know, if you happen to get on while you're doing all of that, thumbs up, right? I mean, that's amazing. So we have this energy. It's a very primal energy as well, because we have this very kind of animalistic feeling. So I feel like this is kind of, you know, like coming up from like the depths of your being. This is like stuff that is like written into your very, you know, DNA, genetics, your body, right? It's just, it's there. You have the memory, you have the muscle memory, you have that, you know, you're plugged into the great, right? The unknown, the unconscious, and it is flowing. But you're also a Virgo, and we're very practical people. You know, some may say to a fault. I happen to think, you know, it's pretty good to be somebody who can create, but is also really thoughtful about the practicality of things, how we use things. You know, I'm that person that saves like the end of a package of something, you know, add a little water into the ketchup, all of that. I feel like it's really a Virgo trait to be somebody that really uses something to its full potential, right? We're not just going to waste stuff. We're not big, wasteful kinds of people. And so I see that you are moving from this kind of almost instinctual place. You're putting into practice your wonderful qualities. Not only good at being very resourceful, managing what you do have, but you're also very organized as well, I imagine, right? Most of us are. Even me, people have in my past told me, well, you don't seem like you have ADHD, which I am actually diagnosed. I went through all the testing, everybody. I definitely did. But I don't know, Virgos, we just are people that like stuff put where we want it to be. You know, I don't know about you. I think this is true of everybody, but especially signs like Virgo. When we are in a chaotic environment and like, you know, stuff's just stacked everywhere. There's like, you know, bottles of water and tissues and boxes and papers piled up. And, you know, every time you have to sit down, you have to like pick stuff up and move it. Absolutely the worst kind of environment for somebody with a mind like a Virgo. And so I see you really excelling on all fronts here, because you are. You have the ideas, you're creative, you know how to get the materials, whatever it is that you're doing, right? And if you don't know how to do something, you're going to go figure it out, learn it. You're organized. You know how you want to do things. You know where everything's at. You know what, like, how is this going to go? When am I going to take a break? You know, all of it. And so I see it really kind of being the key, and we have a key up here, the key to the next room of your life. And I like to think of our chapters, right? Our eras, our cycles, the different processes we go through as individuals, as beings. I like to think of them as different rooms, okay? If you could imagine your whole life as a huge mansion or a castle, and there are different corridors, and there are different rooms and different floors and all of that. And so sometimes, you know, it's time to go from one room to the next. And I believe that is where you are at. Now, we also have the number 58 up here, if that means anything to you. 58. And I want to go this way because I did notice that, and where did it go now? So this one, immediately when I saw it, it reminded me of the word yearn. Y-E-A-R-N. Where's the N? Right there. N at the end. Yearn. Okay, so I feel like there is such a yearning. And who is a better sign to yearn? I mean, really. We are the, like, chasers of love, of the beloved. The Virgo is the ultimate lover. I don't necessarily mean the physical stuff, right? We just love to love. We love to love things. We love to find things we love. On the flip side, we can also be like the ultimate haters. And that's kind of a stereotype that we do get. And I'm not going to lie about that. I sometimes get so bad about saying negative things about stuff that I don't like that I have a jar that has, like, I have to put $1 in every time I talk badly about something that is, like, it's insignificant. Who cares if I, like, you know, the color of, I don't even know, the car that just drove by, you know? Who cares? Nobody needs to know that. I don't even know if I actually like it or not. From one minute to the next, it might change. So, you know, we have to temper our, you know, critiques a little bit sometimes. But we are the ultimate yearners. Is that how you would, the yearners, right? And so I feel like there's such a yearning going on in your life right now. And you know, I think it is. It's all about the change of things. I think that's, you know, you want something different. And you want to, like, empower yourself. You want to be doing something that is producing for you, but also that you find meaningful, that is not like the total nightmare to have to, like, do for hours and hours and hours, right? Another thing about us Virgos. We're not the best at, how do I say? Like, if we really don't like something, if we really dislike a job we have, or, you know, how we're spending our time or whatever, we will make it so miserable. So miserable. Not only for ourselves, but probably for other people. Don't ask anybody, because they'll go in. If I went upstairs right now and I was like, hey babe, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, by the way, my husband Paul over there, go check him out. If I was like, hey babe, if I'm in a bad mood, or if I really don't like what, you know, wherever we're at or whatever's going on, does my energy affect everybody else? Yeah. Yes, it does. And so, you know, that's something that we also have to keep, you know, mindful of. But I see you totally at this point in your life where you are deciding to work in favor of yourself. And that is not putting yourself in situations where you're just absolutely hating it, right? I don't know about you, but, and maybe this is also a Virgo thing. This is just a human thing, probably. I've had some stinker jobs, right? Especially when I was younger. And there is nothing, I mean nothing, better than quitting your job. A job you do not like, right? And it doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be like they're escorting you out or anything. But just like actually saying, hey, you know, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I appreciate the opportunity to work, you know, really like putting it on thick, right? But in your head, you're like, oh, I cannot wait to walk out these doors for the last time. So I get it. And I see you really putting, you know, that energy into finding what you want for yourself, right? Not just going through the motions of a life that feels like you're, you know, you're imprisoned, like you're being forced to do, you know, things that you just do not find comfortable or appealing, or, you know, it's just something about it really agitates you, or I don't know. For me, I'll just do a little example for me. You know, being like in an environment where there's a lot of, and I'm saying this as there's a really bright light in my face, okay, so I am neurodivergent, which you already know, probably, if you've watched the channel. I do not like overhead lights. I really don't like bright lights, and I really don't like fluorescent lights. I do not like I could not work in a hospital. I have just even going into like an office building, like an older one that has like a lot of those really harsh lights in it. Ooh, you know, and it seems ridiculous, I think, to most people. Like I couldn't spend 7 or 8 hours of my life in lighting like that. I would be in ultimate panic the whole time. And, you know, we're conditioned to forget. I talked about this in a reading yesterday. We are conditioned through our different systems of education and just parenting and social, you know, what is it? I guess social kind of pressures to forget how our body feels, or how our mind is kind of processing how our body feels, or what we're experiencing, or what we're perceiving, right? And we push it down, and we push it down, and we go to work there, and we make ourselves just kind of like get through it, you know, and it's just misery for a lot of people. But, you know, hopefully, if you are privileged enough, and let me emphasize, I understand this is a privilege, to get to the point where you say, I can't live like this anymore. I cannot continue to do and go through the process of things that do not add to my life, or at least just put me in a state that I can deal with, right? And so I applaud anybody who figures these things out about themselves and takes action. Now, also being a Virgo, and I've said this on a Virgo reading before, and a few people said, I've quit my job with no plan. And you know what? Kudos to you. I love it. But as a Virgo, usually, right, we are too anxiety-ridden to just quit a job without having any kind of plan or backup or whatever. So it might be a really good time to, yes, be involved in this process fully. Figuring out, how are you going to make a transition? Are you going to start like with a little side hustle? Are you going to build it up? Is this just for fun? You know, maybe you're post-work. Maybe this is something that you've been thinking about doing because you have, you know, a little extra time these days. Whatever it is, I think this is going to be a fantastic thing for you. And do not forget the number 3. Now, we also have, and it looks like it says B-L-E-S-S. Bless. Bless. It also looks like, it also kind of looks like, and I'll say it just here, because it's really easy to figure out, but it looks like Minnesota, and I live in Minnesota. Me and my husband live in Minnesota. A lot of people think we live in Chicago, in Illinois, but we don't. We're in Minnesota, so that's pretty awesome. I love that. I'm gonna have to take a picture of that and show it to my husband. And it also says W-E, we, right there. It could, yeah, yes, I love it, but it does say bless. Okay, and I think that, that's pretty apparent what that means, right? Many blessings on you. I also saw we had the little bell ringing, and I just, right there, you can see the little handbell, and I just thought of that movie. What is the movie? Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. Is that how it goes? That's actually kind of sad, right? Is that sad? Now that I'm thinking about it, that's like, that means somebody has passed away, I think. Right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I That's what I thought of. But I think to me, it is more like a clearing bell, right? Again, if you watch my husband, I think he has a clearing bell on his table. He has one of mine, right? He has taken, I was going to say stolen. He has not stolen. I have let him have them. He's taken all of my bells from my altars and he has them in his office. But yeah, it's a clearing bell and you use it to clear the energy. It's used in ritual. It can be used around the house, you know, at your altars. But it also, to me, it feels like it brings in the positive energy. Like you're just like circled with those guardian angels, with that love of your ancestors, your elders, those who have passed on before you. And it is, you know, so I'm seeing that and I'm thinking like you are really being watched out for. You have a big spiritual team and they are there for you. It's very apparent. So that's a really, really beautiful, beautiful energy to be able to dwell in, really. Okay, so we have a person sitting. We have a person sitting here. And it almost looks like they're playing with a child. Like they're playing dolls or G.I. Joes or some kind of game. Now we have an eagle. We have an ant and an eagle. And we have a person with a little hat. You can see right here. Kind of sitting there. Here's this would be their head. They have a little hat on. They're sitting. It looks like I almost imagine like at a campfire, they're getting their s'mores ready. It looks like they have a little stick in their hand and a little marshmallow. So something about going camping with this person, somebody who is represented, and a motorcycle. Okay. So we have somebody who maybe was like an outdoorsy person, maybe rode motorcycles. I think that you grew up around them. You are the child in this situation. And I think there's a very close bond here. Maybe father, grandfather, uncle, somebody, right? And I feel like they maybe passed a little sooner than anybody had ever expected. It feels like it's something maybe to do with like heart issues, because it feels like it was like they were here one moment and they were gone the next. Like it just came out of nowhere. And I feel like you still really carry that heaviness with you. It's just, even all these years later, you know, I feel like you think about your times together as some of the best times of your whole life. And especially with the holidays coming up, I could understand why this would feel so potent. And that's what it really is. It feels very potent. So, you know, I think in these cases, and I try to, you know, I can't give any real clear advice, but I think when these feelings kind of come up, and they do for me as well. I've lost a lot of people in my life as well. And the holidays are never that easy, you know. I try to make the best of whatever holidays that I celebrate. And even some of them I've abandoned because I grew up celebrating them and it feels almost kind of, I don't know, just I don't like to do the same things that I did growing up. And so I've created my own, right? I've created some of my own, or I've taken up holidays like Saturnalia, right? We celebrate that here during the December season. And I think that's, you know, that's what we do. That's how we continue to push forward, is that we have to create our own things. And if this is a sweet memory, if this is something that brings you back to that grieving, if it's something that is, you know, it brings the melancholy, it makes you very blue, whatever it is, I feel like honoring them, really honoring them, might be something that is worthwhile. My husband and I were just planning our like an ancestor altar for the holiday season. We were trying to figure out where things are going to go, where's the tree and all, well, the trees really, but and in the altar of all of our people, you know. And my daughter has really gotten into giving fruit to the spirits, and she has a couple of statues that she likes to bring oranges, and she makes offerings outside. It's really beautiful. She's 4 years old, and I love watching this kind of she is growing into such a, she's always been amazing, but you know, it's watching her create her own little rituals and stuff. Oh, it's so beautiful. I could cry. I literally get so teary-eyed. But yeah, so maybe something like this, maybe having a feast meal in honor of those who have passed, of your special person. We are going to partake in the Feast of the Seven Fishes this year, and it will be in honor of our family members who have gone before us, and that will be kind of the pinnacle of our celebrating. But yeah, I think it's so important to just try things and find something that feels good to you, you know, or makes it bearable. A lot of holidays are like that. A lot of these things where, you know, we look around and we think, oh, everybody's so happy and everybody has so many people and they're so, you know, blessed. And here I am, I feel like I don't have my people or my community or, you know, what it is. But, you know, you have to get out there. You have to either create something for yourself or find somewhere to go and be with people, you know, or, you know, also finding people who need people to be with, you know. There are so many people, especially older people, that would definitely love to have somewhere to go and eat and hang out, or have somebody come over and sit and talk with them and have some cookies and tea, and, you know, and so we do. It's all about making the choices for ourselves. And, you know, especially when you're in the murkiness of grief or depression or, you know, poverty. I've been the trifecta before. Very, very destitute, very, very depressed, and grieving uncontrollably. And that's why I feel like I can speak on these things, because I found myself in my early 30s, everybody was gone in my life, and I was alone for years. And I had to figure out, you know, what am I going to do? Am I going to just not partake in any of, you know, life, or merriment or celebration or whatever, you know, or I'm going to wait for somebody else to do that for me, because nobody is, right? I have to figure this out for myself. I need to, you know, make my own traditions, find things that speak to me, that make me feel something. And that's why, you know, if you looked at our traditions over here, they vary, right? There are traditions in that we do celebrate, but we do different things. We eat different things. We go different places. I think that's, anyways, for me, that is, that is one of the big blessings of life. There are so many paths to the divine, right? And there is no wrong way. So make it fun, make it beautiful, make it strange and different and, you know, creative. And I'll stop telling you what to do. I know, I don't like when people tell me what to do either. All right, let's see. We have our 3 lucky numbers. Oh, where are you going? Okay, here we go. 31, number 31, 77, 55, 31, 77, 55. All right, let's do our Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. And I'm just going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. The Cross. Faith, hope, and love endure. I am anchored in love. I am anchored in love. Now, I just want to say, disclaimer, we are not affiliated with any system here, Christian or otherwise, Abrahamic tradition or otherwise, no affiliation, but we do honor every path, every, you know, set of symbols and jargon and language and mythologies and cosmologies and cosmologies and, you know, all the things. We honor them here. There is full embracing of everyone's belief systems. And so I always want to do that kind of little disclaimer when we have very specific symbols, because I don't want anybody to feel alienated or like, you know, I'm leaning in a certain direction. No, it just happens to be. These are Mary Magdalene cards. So we know she is, you know, an archetype in the Bible. So all right, Virgo, I love you. Of course I do. Of course I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I read every single one of them, and they mean so much to me. All right, Virgo, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. Good night.